Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gastro Mojo. I'm your host Mojo. I've got a little helper here today. Say hi, JT.
Hi.
Well, that's JT. What we're going to do today, it's kind of involved. We're going to do some cheese enchiladas with some Mexican, what we call red rice, or roja. Hey, my Spanish is So, got all the ingredients here. So we got some jalapeno. It's going to be for the rice. My ingredients are kind of mixed up, so you'll have to go with me. I got tomato sauce. That's also going to go in the rice. And I'll explain everything as I'm going along. I got my Oaxaca cheese, which you know I love, is the favorite. We got about 3/4 a block of cheddar cheese and some cord Roma tomatoes. Let me show you a little video here on how to do that. Pretty easy. You just cut it in half, take your spoon, run it around the inside, just get all that seeds and stuff out, and there you go. You got a cord Roma tomato. You just take that, push it up against your box grater like you're shredding up some cheese, and boom, that's what you end up with right there. That's going to be 4 of them you're going to need. Okay, continuing on, we got 2 cups of long grain, just a regular rice here. Got it pre-washed, get all that starch off there, let it sit for a little while, it dries up pretty nice. Now for your spice mix, this is for the enchilada sauce. We're going to have 2 tablespoons of each for this recipe. That's the garlic powder, a little bit of cumin, and chili powder. That's going to be 2 tablespoons each for that. Alright, that's what you need to get started. Like I said, we'll be going through a few other things here once we get everything starting to put together. So we're going to want about 10 corn tortillas. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get the skillet hot with the oil in it. You don't want it smoking hot like you drop the tortilla in there and it cooks it right away. You just want to get it hot. As you see, I got 2 skillets going here. One's going to be set up to heat up the tortillas, and the other one's going to be for the rice. So the tortillas don't take too long to prep, and the rice takes a little while to cook. So what I'm going to do is start the rice, and we're going to do that by go ahead and drop our onions in there, and we're just going to let them simmer for about 5 minutes. You want your skillet on medium-high heat, and you got about 5 tablespoons of oil in there to saute those yummy onions. Alright, what I have here is the oil that needs to go in the saucepan over there for the enchilada sauce. I believe that was a cup of oil, or 3/4 of a cup of oil. I'll have the recipe in the description here below for the exact numbers. So we get that heating up. Like I said, you don't want that oil too hot either. You just want to get it nice and hot, not to the steam point or to the smoke point. This is going to be the equivalent of about 4 garlic cloves. For time and simplicity's sake, I went ahead and just used a store-bought garlic. You know, you want to use your own garlic, mash it up, chop it up, and throw it in there. By all means, do that. I normally do, but this, like I said, this is a pretty involved meal to have all going at once. So put that garlic in there, give it a good little mix, check your oil, make sure it's not too hot. Now what we want to do is take that rice, make sure you got enough oil in here. Now if for some reason you didn't add enough oil, you can go put maybe another 2 tablespoons of oil or so in there, because the rice absorbs some of it. That way, because you want all of your rice to get coated with oil. The idea here is we're going to pre-toast the rice before we actually cook it. Alright, so pretty much got our rice covered here. Check my oil. Oil's nice and hot over there in my little saucepan. So now I've got those spice mix. Go ahead and whisk it in there. Like I said, at this point you actually might want to turn the heat down just a little bit if you have it too high, so you don't want it to overcook. Mix that up really good. Try to make sure you break up all the spices. Alright, now to the enchilada sauce, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of flour. This is going to help it thicken up as it cooks. Alright, now we're going to add our broth. It's going to be about 2 cups worth of, you can use whatever kind of broth you want. I like a good chicken or even a beef broth at this point. Has a lot of good flavor, and I'm using a garlic vegetable broth there using Better Than Bouillon paste. Excellent stuff. I'll try and find a link for that for you. You want to mix that up real good. Now let's move over here and check our rice, make sure it's doing okay. We don't want it to burn. Like I said, at this point you want your heat just under medium. You don't want to burn the rice, we're going to lightly toast it. Now it's time to add the tomatoes. Stick them in there and then go ahead and add your tomato sauce. I didn't put enough, but you want about a half a cup with this size of meal that you're making. Go ahead and mix that in. Now we're going to add our broth. Now, there's not enough broth here. I didn't use enough like I had mentioned. This is a double recipe, so you always got to double everything. So add your broth. It should look pretty soupy. It's not near soupy enough here in the video, but it'll look much soupier if you're doing it at home, which is good. You want that because it's going to cook low and slow for about 25 minutes. While that's simmering, I want to check my enchilada sauce over here. You want to keep it from getting too thick. Just keep stirring it every now and then, and you'll be okay. Now we're going to add in the jalapenos. Just put them in there and just mix them in. Okay, just checking my temperature here. Now that we got a slow boil, we're going to go ahead and cover it up and let it sit for about 20-25 minutes. And while the rice is cooking, I think we're going to get started on the tortillas. Now, to do this, remember, you don't want your oil too hot. You're just softening the tortillas up. We're not actually cooking them to like a tostada consistency. So you want the oil fairly hot. You just don't want it, sizzling like you normally would see when you drop a corn tortilla into hot oil. So just hot, not boiling. Alright, and check your sauce, of course. You don't want it to burn either, because that's going to taste really good. So the oil's ready to go. So now we're ready to warm up our tortillas to get them ready to roll and place in the oven. So what you do is just lay your tortilla down in the oil there. 7 to 10 seconds should be plenty enough time, especially if they're fresh tortillas. And then once you got the 10 seconds, just flip the tortilla over, let it sit for about another 7 or 10 seconds, and it will be done. As you can see here, that did not work very well. Hot oil plus soft tortillas equals not good for tongs. It's a learning curve. You do something you've never done, you figure out what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to use a spatula here, and this will work just fine. Let's make the rest of our tortillas. Okay, I've got all the tortillas made. Now let's put them together. Pretty easy here. You just take your tortilla, lay it down on the cutting board, throw in your cheese. I threw in a little extra cheddar cheese there to give a little extra flavor because I had it laying around. But that's pretty much it. Roll the cheese up in there, stick them in your pan. And that's all you got to do. Okay, once you got all your enchiladas in the pan, go ahead and cover your enchiladas with your tasty sauce that you just made. Go ahead and toss it all in there. And then after that, you're going to see me top it off with whatever's left of your shredded cheese. Go ahead and cover it up, and we're going to place it into a 400-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. Now, while that's baking, let's check our rice here. We're just going to go ahead and stir it up, and then we'll take it off the heat and let it sit for about, basically the entire length of time that your enchiladas are cooking. And by then, it should be nice and fluffy and ready to go. And all we got left after that is to serve it up. thing to keep in mind here, this is a fairly monochromatic dish. All the colors are the same. You can break it up maybe with a little chopped green onion or cilantro or something like that on top, but for what it lacks in color, it will make up more than enough in flavor. And there you go. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.